I do know this. I've dealt with that system that a lot of folks call healthcare. I've experienced it. I've seen it. It's more of death care than anything. There's actually statistics on this, y'all. More people die in hospitals than they do outside of hospitals. During that whole like COVID period, like folks were disappearing. Folks were disappearing in hospitals. What were they doing with them? What were y'all doing with them? What were you doing with them? So that system that didn't want you to be in your power to know that you are a healer, there's a reason why they didn't want you to know and be in that power. Is because you being in your power, you being in your knowing means that they would be exposed. And I could tell y'all some stories about visiting my father during that whole pandemic period, y'all. I went into those hospitals at a time when they forbid everyone to come in because why? I knew that I could. I was very comfortable in my power to be able to do that. They scared everyone. It was like everyone was scared ishless. They didn't want to go into the hospitals. Wait, but you mean that my father is in a hospital and I'm not going to go in there? No, I went in there. And the stuff that I saw, y'all, the stuff that I saw would make you sick. It would make you sick. So if I'm telling you that it's a system that promotes death care more than health care, there's some things. There's evidence of this. Okay? There's evidence of this. So be in your power, healer. Be in your power. Don't play small. Because whoever has operated that system of death care, that system of death care that they've operated for way too long. They've made you feel intimidated to not be in your power, to not use your knowledge of leaves. Made you think that unless you have their credentials, you're not supposed to be practicing your art of healing. You are a healer, and it is a gift that's been given to you by the divine and not by them. And trust me, you wouldn't want their stamp of approval anyway. Because their stamp of approval means that you would, we'll leave that alone. So rise in your power, healer. Okay, connect with that power that you have, that intuitive know-how to heal. Don't play small. Okay, don't play small. And make sure you question things. You're someone who knows how to question things. Okay? A lot of times what they do is there's an image of superiority that's projected by those who have been indoctrinated into their system of death care. I'm hearing that it is it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm talking about you have folks that think that they could just press buttons and just like that. Like, these folks that are operating in the system of death care, like that superiority complex that they have, that energy. These are folks that operate very much like, they're operating under the same system. They operate very much like, these cops out here who are literally performing execution rituals on people of color. Don't think that that's, the law enforcement is the only place that's, doing these things. They're doing it in hospitals. They're doing it in hospitals. You got folks that literally are in this superior complex and think that they could just press a button and boop, boop, boop. That's it. Stay in your power. Stay in your know-how. Stay connected to your spirit guides, because that's where your power comes from. That's where your power comes from. All right? Stay in your power. Please don't play the ignorant game. Right now is not the time to do that. Like, be in your knowing, okay? Be in your knowing. Do your research, ask questions. Okay? If you have loved ones that are like in the hospital, that get what do they call it? That get admitted, and I think that's even a funny word, that get admitted. So and so was admitted into the hospital. What? They were admitted into what kind of application did they have to fill to be admitted? So what I was gonna say is, like, pay close attention to your loved ones, especially when they go into these institutions, when they get admitted into these institutions. All right, because the less they see that they have people that care about them, the more these folks think that they can do. Like, they basically use them as experiments. My father was being experimented on. I can tell you stories after stories of these systems experimenting on people that they think don't have loved ones that care for them. I could tell you stories. This is not just me babbling. I have experience with this. I have a father who went through this. This is a man that okay. Pay attention to your loved ones when they get admitted to these, institutions, y'all. These institutions they call, healing institutions. A lot of them are not about healing. They're more about, augmenting and praising the energy of death. They literally perform rituals on these, so-called patients. How do I know this? All right. Like, it is not a time to be operating in ignorance. It is a time to be operating in your power, in your intuitive know-how. Okay? It is a time to operate in your intuitive know-how. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there because I know it's some troublemaking folks out there that's going to say, oh, I heard from Messages from the Waters that she said that I ain't supposed to go, to the hospital when I have this, one, and the third. Now, use your wisdom. Okay? All right, that's my disclaimer, because I know we live in a culture that's just, you got to put the disclaimer out there, or it's some crazy ass, folk that's going to be like, ooh, she said this, let's get her, let's get her, let's get her. I know y'all. Okay, so I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. Use your wisdom. Use your intuitive know-how. Okay, I am not your boss. I am not your this. Okay, folks always want to be saying, oh, but I listen to her. Da, 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 da. They always want to, all of a sudden they start taking your advice, when they want to get you, when they want to get you in trouble, when they want to do whatever they want to do. Use your wisdom. Okay, use your wisdom. Use your wisdom, and don't, can't nobody take responsibility for you more than you can take responsibility for yourself. Okay, be accountable for you. Be accountable for your health. Use wisdom when you're operating in any kind of system. All right? Because we folks out here just operating and just doing things like all willy-nilly, like, oh, they said to take this. Okay, well, wait, what do you mean? Use my wisdom. They wearing the white coat. Okay, this person has the MD after their name. What do you mean? They know better than me, do they? Who knows better than you? Okay, it's just a question. I'm not telling you to do nothing before y'all, start getting in your stuff. No one knows you better than you. This right here that you've been given, that houses the spirit within, no one knows it better than you. No one knows it better than you. You mean to tell me if you ate If you ate a bowl of chili the night before and then you talking about, okay, you went into the hospital and then they, you telling them you have a stomach ache, they going to be able to tell that you ate a bowl of chili that night before if you didn't tell them? So you mean to tell me you can't figure out that stomach ache came from eating that bowl of chili at 1 a.m.? I'm just cracking jokes, y'all. The point is, you know what you do on a daily basis. You know what you eat. You know what you drink. And so part of it is you get to become a lot more conscious about what you do, what you put in your body, the words that you speak. All of those are connected to your health. All of those are connected to your healing. Right? Remember how we're talking about, okay, you as a healer, you had to become connected. You had to be centered. You had to be in your know-how for you to be in that power and say, oh, I'm a healer. Well, you had to go through that. There's an awareness that had to take place. Remember, we were saying it's all up here. So you can't tell me you're a healer if you're not. Okay, how could you be healing? How could you be practicing the art of healing if you ain't woke, if you ain't awake yet? They tell you what to do. You're not allowed to use your intuition. Someone tells you whether this person is worthy of living or not. I'm talking about them folks that are, practicing is part of that institution. Now, I'm going to say this again, y'all. It's not everybody, okay? It's not everybody that's been indoctrinated by their system that's operating in that low vibrational state. But I am going to tell you this, it is hard. It's not easy. There's some warriors out there, okay? There's some warriors out there that has those credentials. Yet they will tell you how much of a challenge it is to heal, to be in the business of healing when they have those credentials behind their names, because they are expected to perform. They are expected to uphold a certain quota, a certain agenda, a certain oath that they make. So it is challenging. Yet I'm not saying that there are folks that are not out there that are about the business of healing. So I want to make sure I'm clear about that. There are a lot of, these healer warriors out there that are about the business of healing that have gotten those credentials. Yet I'm going to tell you, it's a challenge because they're operating in a system that they intuitively know is not right. That they intuitively know is not truly about the person. It's about, okay? So healers, continue to heal.